India is facing this continuous problem on the border it shares with Myanmar of these groups which are operating out of the Myanmar side and then they attack and then go back again. So why have we not been able to kind of get the Myanmarese government to do something about it?
A more serious problem is that the same ethnic groups exist on both sides of the border.
Yeah.
For example, Mizos exist in India and they're known as Chins on the
other side.
Burmese side.
Yeah.
Nagas exist on the Indian side, they also exist on the other side. So, well, the Mizo problem is resolved, but the Naga problem isn't. So Burmese have been dealing with their Nagas while India has been dealing with Nagas on this side of the border. Besides this, there's thickly forested areas, especially beyond Mandalay, going towards China, which is known as the Sagai division. That has offered opportunity for a lot of these insurgent groups to set up base camps there, like Ulfa. Ulfa camps are in the Sagai division. The Ulfa chief himself doesn't live in Burma, he lives in Ruili across the border in China. Now, increasingly, there is cooperation between the Burmese security forces and the Indian establishment to chase these groups out. But these are really, really thickly forested areas. Nobody knows what goes on in those forests. So it's not an easy task. If you give them information, they will act on it. If they don't have information, it is unlikely they would go hunting for people in the Sagai division or in those forested areas.
But do these groups also have linkages with the groups which are active in Myanmar, for example?
They do have links. They have family links, they have cultural links, they have linguistic links. But are they being supported by the Burmese army, the Myanmar army today? I don't think so. I remember talking to an advisor to the Burmese president in 2012 when I was there. He said that when he was a brigadier in the army, he saw a letter from the Nagas saying that they would want to open a diplomatic mission in Yangon. He said, are we mad that we would allow insurgent groups to open diplomatic missions against India in Myanmar? So, by and large, people of Myanmar are exceptionally friendly towards India, and now that they want to distance themselves from China, which they have done by cancelling Chinese projects. A 6,000 megawatt power plant in Kachin area in Mitsone had been completed 30%, was scrapped. There was I think copper commission that had been given, a mining commission in China, that's been scrapped. So Chinese are being told that, make way for others. So we don't want to be usurped by China.
But what needs to be done to kind of consolidate India-Myanmar relations?
Well, first of all, we've sort of lost a vision for the region. We talk about look east, but you tend to look over Myanmar. As I said, these linkages that we've had, traditional linkages, they need to be re-energized.
Like this government, for example, has been very active on this whole diplomacy around Buddhism.
Look, Buddhism alone is not going to help you. What will help you is, but they've already got Buddhism, right? It's not as if you will take a new form of Buddhism there. What they need is banking. Okay, Indian banks, I think some of them have started opening representative offices there. United Bank of India, State Bank of India, Exim Bank, Indian Overseas Bank. Now an MOU has been signed with the Reserve Bank of India. I think there is an MOU also on insurance sector reforms. You must understand that this was a closed society which had till 2012, they didn't even have an official exchange rate to the dollar. In the black market, $1 would give you 800 chats. And if you went to the official money changer in the government, they would give you $1, they would give you 6.5 chats. So imagine that, 7 chats versus 8,000 chats for $1. So now, of course, they've had controlled floating of the chat, and now you have a reasonable rate. They didn't have any FDI rules. FDI rules were formulated, I think, in 2012 September or maybe the early next year. They were modified on how much would you have to invest, what rules will govern you. There are no sort of mutually treaties for double tax avoidance, treaties for assuring that your investment will be safe. All that is happening now. But India should take business delegations there, health sector delegations there, pharmaceutical delegations there. Pharmaceutical products is a big market for them. India's interested in oil and gas, but they are also interested in pharmaceuticals because they say the Chinese pharmaceuticals are spurious. And they want Indian companies to set up pharmaceutical ventures. Extremely resource-rich country. What they want is training in the IT sector. They're opening up their mobile sector. They want Indian mobile companies to go there. In the health sector, one of the big 5-star hospital chains in India, has a patient collection center in Yangon. But it hasn't occurred to them that they should open a hospital there. There's money in that. So we have to identify these sectors where we can cooperate with them, which would benefit Myanmar. And if it benefits Myanmar, it benefits India. But before all this, we have to improve our connectivity. Right now, there is, I think, a once weekly flight which goes Delhi, Gaya, Yangon, and I think twice weekly which goes Kolkata, Gaya, Yangon. Compare this with the number of flights they have. There are about 10 flights going to Bangkok. There are about 20 flights from various airports going to China, and many more to the Far East. We used to have direct shipping links with Myanmar.
Yeah.
I think in October 2014, Shipping Corporation of India for the first time began exploring whether we can have some kind of a direct shipping link. But just take the case of roads. If you travel from Mandalay to Ruili to the Chinese border, it takes you 8 hours. And that distance is equivalent to the distance between Mandalay and Moreh.
Yeah.
It takes you 2 days to come to Moreh from Mandalay by road. That is the condition of the roads. So unless we improve road connectivity, unless we have transboundary railway links, unless we have better air connectivity and sea connectivity, all these will remain pipe dreams. Because today if you want to go to Yangon, and if you miss the bi-weekly flight from Kolkata or the once weekly flight from Delhi, you have to go via Bangkok. Now going to Bangkok to go to Yangon is stupid, because you can go in 2 hours from Calcutta to Yangon.